down on this down on third down.
I think you do.
Yeah, you have to.
Yeah, that was a very funny move, though.
I agreed with that one, but you have to go for touchdown
Tomlinson,
here.
In he goes, and that is 4 for LaDanian Tomlinson. 4 last week, 4 this week. He may obliterate the record by the end of the season.
Couldn't a lot of players in this league learn how to celebrate from LaDanian Tomlinson? I mean, this is a real pro. I mean, you go in there and you break all kinds of records. You obliterate everything. You're as good as there is in this game, and you act like you've done it before. You're doing it tonight, and you're going to do it again.
He tied a record first set by Jim Taylor in '62, tied by Marshall Faulk in 2000. 2 consecutive games with 4 touchdowns in each. Flag down here.
I go back to that 4th down play, Al, when Denver went for it. I don't think Mike Shanahan trusted his defense, either that or he respects the heck out of the San Diego offense.
You've got a personal foul against Denver, which means the kickoff will come from the 45-yard line.
Which usually
personal
also
foul,
means frustration.
Unnecessary roughness, number 52. It's a 15-yard penalty. The point is good. We'll enforce it on the kickoff.
Another flag.
Yeah, that flag was on Ian Gold.
No, and then just throw another one.
Well, the chances are they were going to get a touchback anyway. Now it's going to be a definite touchback. They could be kicking off from inside Denver territory.
Well, they were talking about the penalty on Ian Gold. Then the other official threw another flag.
Unsportsmanlike conduct, number 27, against an official. It's a 15-yard penalty. The ball will be placed 30 yards from the kickoff. The ball will be placed at the 40-yard line.
That was Darren Williams, who at one point looked like he would be one of the heroes tonight with that interception run back.
No, those are 2 frustration penalties. And they come here, and then things start going. San Diego started having a way. They go again. See, there's Darren Williams. There's going to be the one on him. You can't do that. And Ferguson should be out of there too. I mean, both of them ought to get away.
Meanwhile, here is LaDanian Tomlinson, who has visited the end zone on occasion. A little toss to the umpire.
And I just got the feeling that he was kind of tired of hearing that he's never played well here in Denver and played here 5 times, and the Chargers never won a game. And you just feel, I mean, sometimes you see a player, you talk to a player, and you just feel that he has a feeling, I've had enough of that stuff.
Yep. 22 touchdowns. San Diego has scored a TD on each of their last 4 possessions. 42 points in the second half last week. 28 tonight. Tomlinson, I mean, the season is 10 games old. That's 22 touchdowns. He's only 6 behind Alexander. He would only need a touchdown a game to tie Alexander's touchdown mark.
And the offensive line has a big part of that too. And I know when we were talking to Cam Cameron about that, he said, early, he said, when I had Phillip Rivers and we were, trying to manage him and have him manage the game, keep the wraps on him, he said a lot of people forgot that I also had a rookie left tackle in Marcus McNeil. And that's the toughest offensive line position to play. He said, so I had to find out about this guy. Do we have to help him in pass protection? Do we have to do anything? And then we found out we don't have to help this guy. That this guy, in fact, he said, this is the best left tackle that he's had since he's been there. Watch him here. I mean, this is the way he plays. I mean, he's a big guy. He's 6'8". He's strong. He's 330 pounds, and he is a tough guy.
He has 2 broken hands.
Well, that's how tough he is.
That's tough.
And in football today and in pass protection, I mean, using your hands and getting your hands on a guy is such a big thing. To have 1 broken hand is tough. To have 2 of them, it's almost impossible because you just have to just say, the heck with it. I'm not even going to worry about it. I'm not even going to think about it. The pain won't bother me. Talking about that, now the Chargers are thinking what kind of kickoff they should do here.
Yep.
Because they're kicking off from the 40 here. They lined up once, and then Marty called them over to the sideline. They went over and talked about it, and then they're just coming out again. And one thing, he's not just going to go bombs away here. It has to be. It's not a bad place to onside kick.
Well, the worst thing that happens if touchback, obviously you start at the 20, but maybe San Diego wants to give Plummer a few more yards to have to work with, so they'll either have to go 80 or longer. The downside, of course, is that you get a good run back on the other side. It's still a 1-possession game, and that kick will be fielded in the end zone and then brought out. And of all the things you don't want to do, that's it. That's Cecil Sapp. That's the last thing you want to do. You let it bounce, and it's going to go into the end zone, and you have it at the 20.
Right, and I don't know exactly what kind of kick that was, because I thought, he's either going to kick it in and let him bring it out to the 20, or he's going to line drive it, but he kind of blooped it up there.
And you know what, John? The fact that Sapp probably didn't know what kind of a kick it was made him go out and get it.
Yeah, because it looked like half a kickoff and half a punt.
It was like Rivers' initial sneak into the end zone. Half kneel down, half
sneak prayer. Yeah, that's exactly what it was.
From the 2, they have to go 98 and get a 2-point conversion. And that's incomplete. And one other thing, and you got another flag here.
But anyway, getting back to that Charger offense, and we know Phillip Rivers is a big part of it.
Illegal touching of a pass, number 50, offense. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, first down.
Ben Hamilton.
No, and new guys, but Marcus McNeil is also a big part of that.
John, one thing we haven't even touched on tonight, because the game has been so compelling.
By number 50
and back and forth.
Second down.
Is just to go back for a second with San Diego. They get Rivers. Remember, Manning's not going to go there. They effect the trade with the Giants. They wind up getting Phillip. He's the number 4 overall pick in the draft. He sits on the bench for 2 years because Drew Brees emerges as a star. Plummer to throw again to the outside, and that is caught for a short gain by Alexander. And nobody expected Brees to be what he was over the last 2 years. Then you have a case where do you pay Brees about $10 million to stay, or do you let this guy go at it? And Marty Schottenheimer and A.J. Smith, the general manager, were not on the same page here. Marty wanted them to keep Brees. Smith wanted them to go with Rivers. And right now, A.J. Smith appears to have made a hell of a decision here, because Rivers has done the job. They get Sean Merriman as part of that trade as well. They get Nate Kading as part of that trade as well. As Plummer throws over the middle, and that pass is a little low. So it's funny the way, you take a big gamble. Sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't.
No, this one worked, and it worked because of Phillip Rivers. And interestingly, the Denver Broncos are going to have that same decision, because, they have Jake Plummer, and then they have Jake Cutler. And Jake Cutler is going to be the starting quarterback of this Denver Bronco team. It's just when. Is it going to be this year? Is it going to be next year? Is it going to be 2 years from now? I would say it's not going to be 2 years from now.
And I don't think it'll be this year either, because, they're still in the race.
So it's probably in the middle there, because Jake Cutler is a lot like Phillip Rivers.
Game is over if they don't convert. But they do convert, and it's Javon Walker up to the 33. Again, they cannot stop the clock, so Plummer's got to get up there and spike the ball, and he'll have under 40 seconds. But they're up at the 34-yard line. They have 66 yards to go. And Jake pounds it into the ground with 34 seconds, and now another flag. And I think you're going to have a disqualification here as well.
Well, Olshansky is walking off the field, and he's not injured. And Marty's yelling at him.
Yep. He's out of the game and getting an earful.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 99. 15-yard penalty. Number 99 is also ejected from the game.
And that's why Marty is so crazy, and who can blame him? 15 more yards, and you lose your starting defensive end.
Right, and here he is. There it is right there.
Oh, sure.
You see, it was just a left to the head and then a right. I think what he was upset about, he thought Nalen went for his knees, which he did, but that's okay. I mean, you know, when a center goes to block you like that, you can't punch him. I mean, that was a stupid thing for Olshansky to do, and I think he's hearing about it right now.
And now you have 51 yards to go. Denver has it at the 49, so they convert on 4th down from inside their 10. They convert, they get the penalty, and now they're 51 yards away. Plummer stepping up, throws, caught, Smith. He's down at the 37. Denver regrouping. That's a first down. 25, 24. And now you have another flag at the end of that play. So the clock momentarily stopped with 24 seconds.
Delay a game. Defense, number 29. 5-yard penalty. First down.
Contending Drayton Florence did not give the offensive player the opportunity to get up. In other words, he was staying on him too long, not enabling him to get up, and thus he's flagged for that.
And the big part of that penalty is stop the clock. So now the Broncos can call a good play. They have time to regroup, you know, and get that play. And I would think they have to think of some way to get the ball to Javon Walker.
And now they're at the 32-yard line. They've got Smith in the slot left. They've got Walker wide to the left.
And the Chargers are in a prevent defense. You can see there, you know, they have the receivers covered, plus they have 3 deep about 20 yards. So they're not going to let him get the quick, easy strike.
Now you got the officials are still discussing the situation, enabling Plummer to go over for consultation and a drink.
That was a long time out.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what that was all about, because Carolla was still going over things with the officials. There was no official timeout. It's 1st and 5. The ball is at the 32-yard line. Plummer moving to his left, taken down, loses the ball. And in effect, that's going to pretty much do it, because with 14 seconds left, Denver has it, but it was Sean Phillips who came in. Denver is going to come up with a football. They're going to spot it, but the clock keeps running, and that will do it.
There's 2 footballs on the field.
And hold everything here, because when the ball didn't go out of bounds, the clock kept running. Carolla and the line judge now get together.
That's the end of the game.
But tell me why, Bill. It is the end of the game. In effect, despite the confusion on the field, when the ball did not go out of bounds, the clock kept running. The best thing that would have happened for Denver is had the ball gone out of bounds, but it didn't. And San Diego thus becomes the first team in the history of the National Football League, starting in 1920, to win back-to-back games down by 17, and the first team to win 4 straight games when allowing 24 or more in a game. Wow.
Whoa.
I mean, I tell you what, the Chargers are playing the most exciting football in the National Football League. Week after week. Phillips with the sack and the fumble. Césaire can't handle it. And then the best thing that could have happened is the ball goes out of bounds. Even though Denver recovers, it is inbounds. Clock runs out. Phillips and the Chargers win the game. They're in first. Back we come after this.
Tomorrow, one contestant is rolling in green. But what has the banker done to cause this? Deal or No Deal tomorrow on NBC.
Many cars claim to be as well built and reliable as the Accord. When it comes to resale value, however, no car in its class can compare. The Accord from Honda. Lease a Honda Accord for $249 a month for well-qualified customers.
Listen, I know you're Santa. You have to make me your helper for this Christmas. Give the elves the year off. Take my advice. Get the Vizio.
Vizio.
Vizio. Vizio. The clearest, most vivid image you'll ever see in your life. You see how those colors pop? It's very thin. Vizio.
Vizio.
Yes. You can save money and you can get a better product. Look at the deer. See, deer. You can relate to deer. Reindeer. No, that one doesn't have a red nose.
You gotta get excited about your TV. Vizio makes flat panel TVs everyone can afford. Vizio, where vision meets value.
The champagne glasses may seem familiar, but you've never seen a car virtually park itself. The new LS, unprecedented. At your San Diego County Lexus dealer.
Banged up and bruised in the ER. Weekend Warriors, tomorrow.
Welcome to the Sirius Satellite Radio post-game report. Here now, Al Michaels.
This one lived up to expectations. Two teams, two hot teams. Great game, 35-27. LaDanian Tomlinson, another phenomenal night. Got the scoring started right here. 4-yard run. That was a 99-yard drive. Denver answered with an 88-yard drive. Mike Bell made it 7-7. Then Rivers was picked off here by Darren Williams, and it was 24-7 Denver at that point. San Diego was right where they were last week in Cincinnati, down by a lot. But when you have LT, you're never out of the game. 3-yard touchdown run, 51-yard touchdown reception to make it a 3-point game. And then Rivers going to the end zone here. That's Vincent Jackson for the touchdown. Tomlinson gets into the end zone for the 4th time tonight. And the Denver D, which had been so good tonight, gives up a total of 5 touchdowns. As we mentioned, first team to win consecutive games coming from 17 or more down in the history of the National Football League. Top of the block, presented by Sirius. Who else? LT comes back to the Big Apple. Nope, not Lawrence Taylor. LaDanian Tomlinson. 22 touchdowns on the season, 105 yards on the ground, and 74 more receiving. Andrea will visit with him when we come back to Denver, where the Chargers have just moved in first place in the AFC West.
Good morning. Thanks, Beth. Hey, Shelley, would you mind making a quick Starbucks run for me? Thanks. Hey, how you doing? Hi. Executives. Can you do me a favor and check that follow spot? It seemed too bright yesterday. Does this side look heavy to you?
My life is far from ordinary. That's why my card is American Express.
Let go of the day. Go Outback tonight with a steak as thick and juicy, the salmon tender.
Let's go Outback tonight.
Let go.
Life will still be there tomorrow.
Go Outback.
Y'all ready to order? And y'all ready to check me out in the amazing picture clarity of DirecTV HD? It's broadcast in 1080i. I totally don't know what that means, but I want it.
For the best in HD, get DirecTV.
Chargers erase a 17-point deficit. Win by 8. LaDanian Tomlinson, the big guy tonight. He's with Andrea.
There's so many superlatives and records we could talk about with you tonight. 4 NFL records that you set, the most prominent being fastest to reach 100 touchdowns. I know the win is the most important, but how are you able to have this kind of performance?
You know, a lot of credit goes to my teammates. My offensive line do a great job of blocking for me, and I've been fortunate enough to get my number called down on the end zone and score some touchdowns for our team.
You've had your struggles here in Denver prior to this. In fact, the whole team has, but you've only averaged about 52 yards rushing. What was different tonight in your performance against the Denver defense?
Once we got back in the game, we was able to run the ball and stay with our game plan. You know, in the past, we've been getting out our game plan, and I haven't been able to run the ball as much. So tonight, we was able to stick with our game plan, and it worked for us.
first team to come back in NFL history from being down 17 points in consecutive weeks. And you did them both on the road. How did you do it?
Resilient bunch of guys. You know, our team, we're never out of it. And I think this team is a very special team because no matter what happens, no matter how much we're down, we're never out of the football game.
Special in what way?
We never give up. That's our attitude. We feel like we're going to score on anybody, no matter how many points we're down, we can score points.
Right, and you've been doing this without your two best defensive players. What kind of statement do the Chargers make tonight, especially on a day when Indianapolis loses?
Well, I'll tell you what, when we get them guys back, people better look out, you know, because it's a real good football team. And so we're looking forward to the weeks up ahead. We have 6 more games left in the regular season. It's going to get interesting.
Thank you, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you, Andrea.
Chargers head home, face Oakland next week. Denver Thanksgiving night at KC in a very important game. Next week, we go to Indianapolis. Peyton Manning and the Colts against the Philadelphia Eagles on Sunday Night Football. It starts with Football Night in America at 7 Eastern and 4 Pacific. Until then, Al Michaels, John Madden, Andrea Kramer, and our entire NBC Sports crew saying good night from Denver.
NBC Sports thanks you for watching this presentation of the National Football League.
This week, Jay's All New with Denzel Washington, Demi Moore, Kristen Davis, and on Thanksgiving, Howie Mandel plays Deal or No Deal with an all-military audience. Plus, Nelly Furtado this week.
Let the Super Bowl hype machine begin in earnest. The Chargers won in a place they just never win. They're in sole possession of first place in the AFC West. We're all over the big game with live reports and analysis from Denver next on Football Night in San Diego.
In the full-size luxury SUV game, you've got to get through this first. Lincoln Navigator, with the best-in-class vehicle satisfaction among luxury SUVs. And the most comprehensive roadside assistance package and powertrain coverage in its class. Now, buy the 2006 Navigator and get 0% APR financing for 72 months. Hurry to your Lincoln Mercury dealer. Lincoln, reach higher.
Cold cut contamination tomorrow.
Hello. We said all week long the Chargers could not afford to fall behind the Broncos early like they did in Cincinnati. But that's what happened. Broncos led 24-7 in the third quarter, but the offense doesn't know the word quit. What a comeback. Chargers winning 35-27. Team has a lot of heart, and what an offense. Quarterback Philip Rivers picked off twice early, but that didn't keep him from throwing some clutch passes during the touchdown drive that put the Chargers ahead. He connected with Antonio Gates on a couple clutch plays, the same Gates who didn't have a pass thrown his way in the first half, and then the touchdown grab by Vincent Jackson on a beautifully thrown ball by Philip Rivers. And that's how a team rallies from 17 points down and it's just a matter of minutes to take the lead on their way to a big victory and sole possession of first place in the AFC West. Our Jim Stone joins us now live from Denver. He's a very special guest. Hi, Stoney.
Hi, Les. I'll tell you, it's been quite a homecoming for Vincent Jackson from Colorado Springs. Went to Northern Colorado and catches a game winner tonight. That's got to be some feeling.
Oh, yeah, man. It's good to come back. You know, I have some friends and family out here at the game, and
I didn't get to play at this stadium, this game last year, and it's a real enjoyable victory.
First team in NFL history to come back from 17 down back-to-back weeks, and you do it on the road. I mean, what does that say about this football team?
Well, you know what? We don't want to make a habit of it, I'll tell you that much. Being a second-half team is tough to do in this league, but we're playing well. We know whatever, we are coming at halftime, read the way they're playing, and sometimes we got to air it out, just like we did last week, and it's working for us, so we'll keep on doing what we got to do to get victories.
We showed that game-winning touchdown pass. Talk about it again, because it was a great route.
Yeah, we set that up in a bunch formation. We really put the cornerback in a bind over there. I'm running straight at him to the back pylon, and we have somebody in the flat. So he really has to make a decision whether to go back with me, and we kind of caught him in no man's zone, and Phillip threw it up, and I just tried to get both feet in, and it was a touchdown.
At 24-7, down 17, what's the feeling on the sideline?
You know what? We really weren't that rattled coming in here at halftime, and going back out there in the third quarter, we knew they were getting the ball first, but, guys just said, we've been here before, keep your composure. And no one on the sideline ever even seemed to get nervous or upset or anything like that. We just executed our plays, and here we go again, victory.
Thanks. Congratulations.
I appreciate it.
Vincent Jackson, quite a homecoming. Colorado bred, and he's a winner here in Denver tonight. Laz, let's go back to you.
Thanks, Tony. He seems pretty calm, doesn't he? Our hearts are racing back here in San Diego. Meanwhile, after they had the lead, the defense did the rest. They've been preaching all year to finish strong, and that's what happened against Jake Plummer, who had plenty of time to move his team down the field. It didn't happen. Marcus Harris with the big play in the Broncos backfield throws Damian Nash for the loss. And then a few plays later, it was Plummer back to throw, and the bad Jake surfaced. The interception under pressure, I should add, to Drayton Florence, who came up with the defensive play of the game. With that interception and the comeback kids do it again, it was a wild final minute or so as the Denver Broncos did get the football back down 8, but the defense hung tough. To understand how big this is, you have to look at the Bolts' recent history in Denver, which has been nothing short of horrific. Since 1987, the Chargers were just 2-17 in Denver. Between time in San Diego, Cleveland, Kansas City, Martin Schottenheimer's career record in the Mile High City, 4-13. LaDanian Tomlinson has played 5 games in Denver, averaging just under 53 yards a game, by far the worst he's played against any NFL opponent on their home field. Antonio Gates has been shut down as well. In 5 games against the Broncos, he was averaging just 3 catches for 30 yards with 0 career touchdowns. But they won this first-place showdown. And, of course, the fourth quarter comeback was possible because the Chargers have the best running back in football. It's great that the entire country had a chance to see LaDanian Tomlinson in action. Here's a sample of his work. First, a 3-yard touchdown run, the 100th score of his career, fastest to 100 in history in 89 games. Beating the record of Jim Brown and Emmitt Smith. That cut the lead to 24-14. And then almost on cue, as they were raving about the fact that LT can score from almost anywhere in all kinds of fashions, he takes the pass wide open and sprints down for the touchdown. LT, 23 touches, 179 total yards from scrimmage, and of course the 4 touchdowns, by the way, had 105 yards rushing, and 3 of those scores were on the ground. There's no doubt right now he is the most valuable player in the National Football League. Artie Ojeda has been in Denver since Friday, so we can assume by now you're adjusted to the altitude. The Chargers have struggled in the Mile High City, but not tonight. What do you think so far about playing in altitude, Artie?
Well, it doesn't matter at this point, Laz. What a game, I tell you. Hey, you know what? I'm standing out here outside of the stadium, and I want you to know, Laz, I was basically taking my life into my own hands until I was rescued by this group of excited, enthusiastic Charger fans. I don't know if we're going to be able to get a word in edgewise here. All right. What'd you think of that game?
It was great. It was great. I have never been to Denver. It was the greatest thing I ever came to. I've been a Charger fan since 1961. Here's my schedule.
All right. Way to go. What'd you guys think? How about LT's performance?
LT is awesome. He ranks.
All right. Was the road trip worth it?
Oh, it was worth every dollar. Yes, priceless it was. My kid here, yeah!
Chargers! All right, you get the idea here. Yes, Laz, you talked about the altitude, and it was something that we were talking to the fans with all weekend once we got here on Friday, and basically the experts say 1 out of every 5 visitors is going to experience experience altitude sickness here in Denver, and that shows up in ways like headaches, sinus issues, and many people we spoke with experience those problems. And you talk to the players, and some of the players get acclimated to the altitude very quickly, but they knew coming in that it was going to be an issue, and this is what some of the players had to say earlier this week.
I guess it could affect you a little bit, but when you're honed in on what you're doing and your responsibility and how much this game means to us, I don't think it'll be a factor at all.
I hadn't played up there, so as far as does it drain you more, I don't know. I've heard some of the guys say it does, but I think it's probably more mental than anything. In these kind of games, those kind of things shouldn't be an issue.
Wait. All right, so there you have it. Analysis on the altitude, Laz, as if it matters at this point. Big Chargers win. What do you think, guys? All right, Laz, we'll send it back into you. It's going to be a very nice road trip home for all of these guys. Back to you in San Diego.
Thanks a lot, Artie. I know better than to ask him a question at this point, but I will ask the guy who joins me now some questions. Joining us, UT NFL beat writer Jim Trotter. It was a terrific game by a team that has struggled at Mile High Stadium, by a coaching staff that has struggled up there too. LaDanian Tomlinson put on a great show. But we have to give some credit to that offensive line with that rookie. I'm glad towards the end of the game they showered some praise on the rookie left tackle, Marcus McNeil, who has played so well, who could be Rookie of the Year in the National Football League for the way he's played.
Well, outside of quarterback, left tackle would be the toughest position to come in and play as a rookie or as a first-year starter. And early on in the year, they tried to protect him a little bit with tight ends and the fullback. But now they've left him alone and just gone out and run their offense, and I think it's made a big difference in how it's performed lately.
And we looked at that offensive line early in the season, and you can see Mike Goff out there pulling in front of LT, leading the way. Of course, LT kind of left him in the dust there. But you look at that offensive line early. Jack Henry came in to coach it. They have an assistant coach helping him, and they seem to have responded so well. What a prideful unit they are.
Well, I believe football starts up front on both sides. And I think, a couple of years ago when they had Hudson Houck, they brought in a few new guys. The unit performed great. Then they bring in Carl Mock, who's a totally different coach from Hudson Houck, and the guys didn't respond to that. So they go back this year to Jack Henry, who's a teacher, just like Hudson was, and this group, again, is responding to that.
And one guy who's benefited from that all is the quarterback, Philip Rivers, who joins us now with Jim Stone in Denver to talk about another amazing comeback. Stoney?
Boy, Laz, was it ever. Philip Rivers, this team never seems to quit. First team in history to come back from 17 down back-to-back, and you do it on the road. What does that say?
It says a lot about the team. A careless interception there, a critical mistake that usually when you make them like that on the road, you can't recover. But this team didn't panic. I didn't panic. Nobody panicked. We kept the thing rolling, so let's just keep playing. And the guys were great. LT was great as always. The offensive line battled. It was a physical game out there. As you know, every time you play Denver, defense made plays, and it was a great team win. But, 24-7, it doesn't look that good out there. But we knew if we get another score or two, which we did, you're right back where you were. So.
Two plays that stand in my mind. First, that touchdown pass to LT, a mismatch. You saw the mismatch. Talk about it.
Yeah, well, they brought everybody, and so we don't have enough to block them. So I just kind of rolled away from the unblocked guy. And you got a defensive end covering LT. I don't know when teams are going to figure that out. Teams have done it a couple of weeks now, and he's burned them on all of them. But that was a huge play, obviously, in the game. And we were able to get the run game going, and those guys are blocking Lorenzo, the whole line, tight ends, Gates. And then you see Gates come alive there in the fourth quarter and really make the plays to get us through there late there in the game.
You control your own destiny now. What does that feel like?
It's huge. This was a huge game. We knew it. We didn't want to overplay it. But it was a huge game. We're at first place now in the division. Now we just got to keep playing. We come back home to play an Oakland team that, if you look at their last couple games, they've been battling and hanging right in there. So we'll certainly have to be ready next week.
Thanks for the visit.
Okay, thanks.
All right, Philip Rivers. You might have noticed, Laz, he had a Texas Tech basketball sweatshirt on. He said, Bob Knight motivates him. Let's go back to you.
I did notice too, Stoney, thank you very much, that he was looking you right in the eye, which is what Bob Knight wants from his players. Jim, we got to comment on the fact that the first thing Philip talks about is his interception. Yeah. He just led another terrific second-half comeback, and he wants to talk, first of all, hey, that interception was pretty awful.
But that's what's going to make him a special player. And when I listen to him in terms of his approach to the game and his thinking, it reminds me so much of Drew Brees, that even when they're down, they're the type of quarterback that you wouldn't know it, because they always believe the next play is going to get them going and get the team going. The other thing I like about Philip is the way he distributes the ball. You look at Gates in the first half, they don't even look for him. He comes back in the second half, big plays by Gates. he distributes it, gets everyone involved, and so it makes them tough to defend because you don't know where they're going.
That's a credit to the coaching staff, too, which I think does an excellent job trying to get everybody involved in this offense. One downside, of course, well, on the plus, 3-0 without Sean Merriman. Luis Castillo's out for a couple of games. The Chargers are able to win these games. But the one negative is that the teams are running the football on the Chargers. Of course, Denver's going to run the football on people.
Right. But I tell you, though, Laz, I mean, still, when you look at this, when they get Luis back and when they get Sean back, you know, I think that it just bodes well for what's coming for these guys. Because when you can win these kind of games on the road in these situations, it's character building.
It is character building, and the Chargers now in the driver's seat with 4 of the remaining 6 games at Qualcomm Stadium, where they've had, they're 4-0 this season.
It's big. I mean, you look at Denver now. They've lost two at home this year to Indy and now San Diego. And the one thing I think this team learned last year in losing 4 at home is that you've got to take care of business in your own place. So I think they're going to be very confident. I think right now, as Stoney said, they do control their own destiny, and they're in a good situation.
Jim, sit tight. We'll come back to you in the next segment. Thank you so much for your comments so far in this ball game. And by the way, nice job picking this week's feature game of the week. Each week we ask you to log on to NBCSanDiego.com and select a game for us to focus in on. You chose the Colts at Dallas. Bill Parcells looking for a win over the perfect 9-0 Colts. And that's exactly what happened as Peyton Manning goes deep and finds Reggie Wayne. 7-0 Colts, but Peyton had fits with the Dallas defense. Third quarter's pass intended for Wayne, but was tipped. Kevin Burnett with the pick takes it 39 yards to the touchdown and the tie. Peyton would throw 2 interceptions on the day. Third quarter, still tied. Peyton to Dallas Clark. Makes it 14-7 lead. This game was up and down. Cowboys come back in the fourth quarter on a Marion Barber 5-yard touchdown run. Cowboys defense held off the Colts again. Offense capped off an 80-yard drive to take the lead. The 1-yard punch in by Barber. Manning would lead the Colts 63 yards. Going for the tie on 4th and 2. Throws to nobody. Colts fall to 9-1. Cowboys win 21-14. They're 6-4. And just a half game back of the Giants, who play at Jacksonville tomorrow. Let's go back to Denver. Jim Stone is joined by Igor Olshansky.
Laz, the big fella, played pretty darn good. The defense put the clamps on him at times, but you're down 24-7. They had lit you up a little bit, then you put the clamps on. What's the feeling on the sideline? You guys keep falling behind.
Well, first of all, I just want to apologize to all the Charger fans and all my teammates and all the staff, management for making a real stupid play at the end of the game. You know, that really could have cost us the game. The guy cut me after he took a knee. You know, I don't have much good to say about him or that offensive line, obviously. But it's a learning experience. It won't happen again. Our guys rally. We have great characters on this defense and this offense. The offensive line, offensive weapons are great. Defensive guys, I mean, Sean Phillips came back huge and made that play and saved my behind, you know. That was a very stupid play by me, and it won't happen again.
Besides that play, though, I mean, Denver was able to run the ball on you, which no other team in this league has been able to do. What was going on there?
Well, they were cutting behind the nose tackle. I mean, obviously, you know, the large part of their success is their ability to hold, and the refs not calling it. I mean, that's just what it is. So we have to do a better job getting off and, you know, knocking them back. I mean, they have, with that kind of game plan, they're always going to have a good running game. You know, those guys hold, and the refs don't call it. So, I mean, it's not coincidence that they're always able to run the ball well with a different running back. You know what I'm saying? It's the scheme, and it's the system that allows them to use that scheme. You know, if they decide to run smash mouth football and powers and leads, those guys are wussies. They won't be able to do nothing. But, you know, lateral and holding and grasping and, you know, cutting back and stuff, that's what they do.
Igor, thank you.
Thank you.
Igor Olshansky, telling it like it is, Laz. Let's go back to you.
Stoney, thank you so much. Igor fired up, and I think he's right on to say what he said about first apologizing to all of us. But, you know, when you're cut like that, that is just totally a cheap shot thing to do by Tom Nalen, a veteran center who should know better. We're only getting started. Lots more to come from Denver. And coming up, the Chargers host the Raiders next Sunday. See how they did against the Chiefs at Arrowhead.
Football night in San Diego brought to you by Rocky Mountain Refreshing Coors Light. Taste the cold.
Hey, Coach, you're a fan of the Coors Light Frost Brew Liner, right?
Darn right.
Wouldn't you say it locks in that Frost Brew taste?
I can say it with confidence.
Coach, would you say the Frost Brew Liner rocks?
think that's probably as well as I can state it. I don't know.
Every Coors Light can is a specially designed liner to lock in that refreshing frost brewed taste.
Coach, I started lifting again. Can you tell? I don't see any changes that would be visible. You know,
Your face, this place is unforgettable.
Two options. Change the road or change the SUV. Introducing the Acura MDX with super handling all-wheel drive. Technology takes it to a whole new place. Acura. Advance.
One day it arrives, and some wonder who brings it. How does it get here? It remains a mystery. Everyone's watching for the AT&T Yellow Pages because no other book is more complete and up-to-date. So choose the book with AT&T on the cover. The new AT&T, your world delivered.
Tomorrow at 11. You think you're LT, but you're not. You've got the fitness fever, but you're so out of shape. Monica Dean reveals why San Diego's banged up and bruised are ending up in the ER and how you can avoid being sidelined by injury on Weekend Warriors. And before you take that bite, wait till you hear what someone wants to spray on your bologna and why. Would you eat something sprayed with a live virus? Steve Walker reports cold cut contamination. Tomorrow at 11 on NBC 739.
Again, the final score, 35-27. Chargers go to 8-2. Denver drops to 7-3 with a game Thursday night in Kansas City against the Chiefs. You know, over the past couple of years, the Chargers secondary has not exactly been full of playmakers. Antonio Cromartie figures to change that. The talented rookie had his opportunity to make a big play here, ball in his hands. We were all told Antonio would make those plays. He did not right there. It looked like it could have been a big play until the events of the game changed, and Drayton Florence with the huge interception of the Jake Plummer pass. Of course, the bad Jake coming through there, throwing into double coverage. But Florence holds on to the football and pretty much ices the ball game for the Chargers with that pick. Well, you logged on to NBC San Diego and chose fullback Lorenzo Neal as our player to watch in Denver. The Broncos defense had their eye on him too, but it didn't much matter. Neal had the key block in LT's first quarter touchdown run with the seal-off of Darren Williams. And Lowe made a contribution as a receiver. He's not a nimble, nifty runner. He's more persistent than anything else once he gets his hands on the football, sometimes looking for players to run into. Well, now he's run into Jim Stone, who joins us now again with the All-Pro fullback. Stoney?
All right, Laz, Lorenzo Neal is here. The block on LT's first touchdown. I mean, you're on the field. He sets a record going for, 189 games. What's it like blocking for him? I talked to you about it a lot, but this is a record-breaking night.
Oh, it's amazing. I'm just out there, and it's like, it's like when you could just taste blood, and you just want to just like, I'm biting someone out there. So it's just great.
You just woke me up.
It was just a great win for us. I mean, I'm excited. The guys just came out hard, played hard, fought. We're down by 17, and we found a way. And just LT, what do you say? He's Superman without the cape. I mean, he did it again. Four touchdowns. Four. Is that? It didn't. Four. So I tell you what, I'm excited to be on this team and just to be blocking for a great tailback in LaDanian, and I'm just glad one day I can go tell my kids and my kids, hey, look, I played with the greatest, one of the greatest of the game.
It may sound insignificant, but when this team's backed up to the 1-yard line in the first quarter, about to take off on a 99-yard drive, they give it to you on the first play, throw it to you on the second play, you give them a little breathing room so they can operate, and all of a sudden it becomes a 99-yard touchdown drive.
Well, Cameron does a great job of getting guys involved, and the more you can do, and sometimes it's like the little engine. I think I can. It was just it's two plays back to back, and gave us a little breathing room. And then third down, we converted, and that's a sign of a good team, and that's what we need to continue to do.
What does this say about this team to come back from more than 17 down, back-to-back weeks on the road?
I say it's just an insurance policy. You know, you get insurance because you say not that you need it, but you got to have it because just in case now, anytime we get down, we know that we can go back and say, look, we've been down by 21, we've been down by 17, and we show people we can come back, so that was big for us.
Lorenzo Neal, thank you for the bark, too.
No worries.
Meantime, you know, record breaker today, Dave Binn played in his 201st game with the Chargers. No one has played in more. It's a nice way to celebrate an anniversary, I guess.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I was trying not to think about the record too much and just thinking more about how nice it would be to get a win here. It's only been the third time we've won in the 13 years I've been in the Chargers, and it's an unbelievable comeback. I mean, this team, the resiliency, the confidence that we have, and the heart to just keep playing when you get down. I mean, I've seen games like that where you're down that much, just snowball out of control, and we didn't let that happen. We kept fighting and got it done.
You're watching from the sidelines as LT is doing all this, as he's going for 102 touchdowns in his career. What do you see out there when he is almost Superman.
He's incredible. I mean, he's so quick. He can run it, catch it, throw it. You know, I'm waiting for him to pick up a fumble recovery. Somehow he's going to be on defense and score. I mean, he can do everything. He needs to kick a PAT and do the trifecta.
You played on the Super Bowl team. Can you compare this team to that team, this team better?
You know, every team's different. I see a lot of similarities, though. You know, the closeness that we have in the locker room and the confidence on the field, the way everybody just gels together and plays their ass off for each other. There's a lot of similarities. There's no give up in this team. So, you know, and first time we played, my first game as a Charger was here in Denver, and we won. And it's been a long time since we've won.
Dave Binn, thank you. Congratulations on the record. 201 games, a lot of games.
There you go. That is a lot of games, huh? I can't believe it, actually. When you put it like that, I feel old. Come on, Stoney.
You're a young guy. Don't worry. Dave Binn. We call him the Binnmeister. I tell you what, he is one resilient football player, one tough guy, Laz. Back to you.
Thanks a lot, Jim Stone. I'm glad you talked to him, too. By the way, Stoney. The record was held by Russ Washington and Junior Seau, 200 games in a Charger uniform. Russ Washington, of course, a member of the Chargers Hall of Fame, and Junior will be once he graduates once and for all from the National Football League. Next week, the Chargers host the lowly Raiders, who gave the Chiefs a run for their money at Arrowhead, but lost key players Lamont Jordan and left tackle Robert Gallery to injuries along the way. Trent Green back on the field, seeing his first action since suffering a concussion in the season opener against the Bengals. He hasn't forgotten to get the ball to Larry Johnson, who rushed for 154 yards and 2 touchdowns. This one in the first quarter made it 7-0. Raiders went with Aaron Brooks at quarterback. Andrew Walter, who was critical of the coaching staff during the week, was benched, maybe for that reason, maybe because they figured Brooks could lead them to a win. Touchdown pass here to Courtney Anderson. Raiders led 13-7 at the break. Raiders defense held the Chiefs to a field goal in the second half until Larry Johnson scored with under 2 minutes to play. But Brooks again, coming through in the clutch, driving the Raiders 66 yards. They had it first and goal at the 8 before Brooks threw into double coverage. Rookie corner Jared Page with the pick. Game over. Chiefs win 17-13. Well, still to come, we go back to Denver with more from Stoney in the Chargers locker room. And it was a tough day for a couple of veteran NFL quarterbacks. We'll talk about that with Jim Trotter.
Make something happen here, and it was only a close friend of McNabb.
Today's Quick Hits brought to you by Cox Communications, your friend in